Rev up your engines!
Buying a car on the internet is a very iffy thing, period. I don't care what guarantees they say they're going to give you. You don't really want to do it. There's too much shadiness involved, especially when you're talking about buying used vehicles. When I was young, they used to have a picture of Richard Nixon and it said, "Would you buy a used car from this man?" Everybody thinks used car salesmen, hey, not the most honest people in the world. Start putting a bunch of them together on a website. It's a formula for disaster as far as I'm concerned. If you're ever thinking about buying cars online, take Scotty's advice. Think twice about it. You want to look at something you can see and have a mechanic check out before you buy, not just looking at pictures. I mean, they can take pictures of anything. And I hate to tell you, but cameras aren't like human eyes. I can take a picture of my driveway of a really crappy car, and it'll look great because I know how to take pictures. I film my own videos too, so I know a little bit about cameras. But then in real life, you see it, it's like, oh my God, this thing's a disaster. Of course, you don't take the broken parts that are underneath or on the side. So you really want to see a car when you buy. And these website stuff, me, I'd stay far away from them. Balin Wilson says, I really want to buy either a Jeep or a Mini Cooper. Which your Jeep is best to buy used, and which your Mini Cooper is best to buy used. One, I'd never buy a used Mini Cooper. Those things are endless money pits. They fall apart. Now, Jeeps, since Fiat bought Chrysler, the quality of the Jeeps has been going down. If you really want a good Jeep, get one from the 60s or 70s that had been reconditioned. You're better off with that than buying a new one, because the old ones could last forever and you can recondition them. You can put in new transmissions, new motors, whatever wears out, you can replace. They had solid frames, they were good vehicles. The new ones, unfortunately, they're pretty junky, especially something like that Jeep Renegade, where they commercial on TV, Renegade. Yeah, Renegade. It's a Fiat 500 four-wheel drive vehicle. It has nothing to do with Jeep, but it's called the Jeep Renegade. Don't buy a new Jeep if you value your money. Thomas Darwin says, Scotty, should cars and trucks with sunroofs be avoided? Well, if you're not going to use them, yes. They got seals. The seals go bad. They all actually leak a little bit. On the corner, there's tiny little drain holes, and on the two back parts, there's tiny little drain holes in the corner. Those get dirt and leaves, then they fill up with water, and water leaks into the vehicle. Because the seal for the sunroof isn't perfect. They all leak a little bit. They got these drain holes. So you got to open them up every once in a while, especially if you park under trees. And you got to clean those little holes, because if you don't, the water will leak in. It's a waste of money, because eventually it's probably going to leak. Now here in Houston, they're a complete waste of time. It is too freaking hot here to have the sunroof open. Even in the middle of the night, it's 83, 84 degrees. Now, I mean, if you lived in Hawaii or someplace, California, where it's dry and nice weather, go right ahead. But if you live where I live, where it's hot and humid, you don't want a sunroof. You want air conditioning. Michael Earl says, what do you think about Fiat killing off the 500 in the U.S.? They finally made a good decision. Good riddance to the Fiat 500. What rolling piles of junk those cars were. I've had customers with them, and my customers were all women, and they liked them because they were little and cute. And she was going from Houston to Dallas to go to school, and the stupid engine blew up. And Fiat wouldn't pay for it. They said it wasn't taken care of and it was out of warranty. They were piles of junk, and good riddance to the Fiat 500s. They're still selling some fancy ones, all-wheel drives, things, 500 XL or something, but they were such miserable failures. Last year, they sold less than 300 of them a month. So it wasn't worth their while to sell the stupid things here. Nabazada says, Scotty, my BMW smokes a lot when it idles. Any vehicle that smokes a lot when you idle is bad valve seals. When the valve seals wear, all that oil pools up in the head, and the valve seals are supposed to keep the intake valves from sucking oil in when they suck fuel in. And when it's just idling, there's a lot of oil up there, and it'll suck the oil and it'll start smoking. It's a classic sign of worn valve seals. Costs so much money to fix out a BMW. My advice is just keep adding oil. Oil is cheaper than doing a valve job on that expensive BMW. And Cool Conroy says, what are your views on the new $180,000 Porsche electric car? Well, I imagine it'll be more reliable than their regular cars because they're endless money pits. And you get in an electric car, you're talking about a battery and motors. It's pretty simple stuff. They should be able to build that so it doesn't fall apart. If you really wanted an electric car, you know what you ought to do? You got to do what the Europeans are doing. There's companies in Europe now that for 5,000 euros will convert your little car into an electric car. So say you got an old Volkswagen, Toyota Corolla, Honda Civic, they'll turn it into an electric car for 5,000 euros, which is like, I don't know, less than $6,000. It isn't all that much money. Do that rather than spend all that money, 180 grand, on an electric car. You know, I mean, if you got money to burn, go ahead, buy a Porsche. Tesla Model S if you want real speed, you know, but hey, you really want an electric car? Why don't you just get one converted? TTP JFK says, what are your views on Toyota-Suzuki partnership? I'm not a fan of that stuff. I mean, Toyota makes great cars. I just don't understand any of that stuff. And me, if a company does something good, why do they want to get involved with a company like Suzuki that doesn't make such great cars? Oddly enough, Suzuki makes killer motorcycles. They are absolute killers. I had a 750 Suzuki. That thing was a screaming motorcycle. But their cars, they're kind of junky little things. They sell big in Asia and like in Australia where gas is expensive because they do get good gas miles. But they aren't the greatest cars in the world. Toyota, I guess they just want to sell more cars, so they're going partnership. I think it's a mistake myself, but hey, I don't own Toyota. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.